everyone. We will be discussing simple harmonic motion in this lecture. To define simple harmonic motion, it can be defined as to and fro motion along a straight line, and the acceleration is proportional to the displacement but directed opposite to the displacement. That is, if A is the acceleration, it is proportional to the displacement but directed opposite to the displacement x. So minus a constant times x will be the acceleration. Okay. Some of the examples for systems executing simple harmonic motion are the spring mass system, the simple pendulum and the torsion pendulum. In case of a spring mass system, if the mass is displaced by applying a force in this direction, the spring pulls the mass in the opposite direction. This causes the mass to be in dynamic equilibrium and causes it to oscillate. In case of a simple pendulum, when the bob is given a small displacement and on letting go, due to the gravitational pull, it comes back, and due to the velocity gain, it continues to oscillate. So applied force is balanced by the component of the gravity in the direction of the applied force, and hence the bob is in dynamic equilibrium and it continues to oscillate. In case of a torsional pendulum, it is an angular harmonic oscillator. So when the wire or the disc is twisted through an angle, say theta, by applying a torque, the torsional stresses developed in the wire causes the disc to come back to its original position, and due to the velocity gain, there will be continuous torsional oscillations like this. Okay. So in all these cases, the simple harmonic motion is found to be the to and fro motion along a straight line, and let us analyze if this condition is fulfilled. Okay, whether acceleration is proportional and directed opposite to the displacement. Let us start with the spring mass system. In case of a spring mass system, the spring constant is K, and if the mass is displaced by a distance, say x, what happens? The spring tries to pull the mass in the opposite direction. We apply an external force F to pull the mass from its, say, mean position is 0 to a distance x. The spring produces a restoring force Kx in the opposite direction. So F will be equal to minus Kx. That is, inertial force is balanced by the spring restoring force. Inertial force is mass times acceleration, and it is equal to minus kx. So you have acceleration equal to minus k by m, where k as well as m are system constants. M is the mass attached to the spring and k is the spring constant, times x. So the condition for simple harmonic motion is met by the spring mass system. Hence it is called a simple harmonic oscillator. But once we let go our hand, that is, once we take off after applying the force, if we just take off our hand, does the mass stay there? No. The mass starts to move in this direction and it gains maximum velocity from velocity equal to 0. It gains the maximum velocity at the mean position and it continues to move in the opposite direction till the velocity becomes 0. Okay. So if xm were the amplitude, then under no dissipative losses, the mass moves until the position minus xm. Okay. So let xm denote the amplitude, that is maximum displacement from the mean position. So then what do we mean by the forces are equal? Since the forces are equal and oppositely directed, the net force on the mass is 0. But the mass is not at rest. It continues to oscillate. This is known as dynamic equilibrium. The mass is under dynamic equilibrium and with no dissipative losses, it will continue to oscillate between minus xm and plus xm infinitely. Okay. On reaching minus xm, the spring will actually be compressed at this position. So the spring force will now act in the opposite direction. That's how the interchange of the direction of the spring force and the inertial force causes the mass to keep oscillating. We know that if displacement is x, velocity is given by dx by dt. That is the time derivative of x, and acceleration is given by d square x by dt square. Okay. Let us for a spring mass system, we have acceleration equal to minus k by m x. Omega naught be the natural frequency of the oscillator. omega naught square be k by m. So we have d square x by dt square equal to minus omega naught square x. So the equation of motion of a spring mass system is given by d square x by dt square plus omega naught square x equal to 0. This is a second order linear homogeneous differential equation. Let us assume x to be c e power beta t, where c and beta are arbitrary constants. So you have x equal to c e power beta t, which means the velocity dx by dt is beta x, acceleration is beta square x. Okay, so substituting these values in the equation of motion, we will have beta square equal to minus omega naught square, or beta equal to plus or minus I omega naught. So we have found one of the arbitrary constants in terms of the known quantity, because you know omega naught is root of k by m, where k and m are associated with the spring mass system. Okay, so now the solution to the differential equation becomes x a e power I omega naught t plus b e power minus I omega naught t, because there are two possible values of beta. Instead of a single arbitrary constant c, we have to replace by two other arbitrary constants a and b. Okay. By Euler's formula, e power I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta, whereas e power minus I theta is cos theta minus I sin theta. So you will have a plus b cos omega naught t plus I into a minus b sin omega naught t. So instead of these two arbitrary constants, let us assume a plus b equal to xm cos phi, where xm and phi are another. Instead of a and b, we choose xm and phi to be the arbitrary constants. And let I into a minus b be xm sin phi. So x becomes xm cos omega naught t cos phi plus sin omega naught t sin phi. Which can be reduced as x equal to xm cos omega naught t minus phi. So starting from x equal to c e power beta t we have solved and found the solution for the equation of motion of a simple harmonic oscillator. Here Xm denotes the amplitude which depends on the initial force that is applied, and phi is the initial phase. So both Xm and phi can be determined based on the initial conditions. If you plot x versus t, the x versus t graph would look like this. You will have Xm and minus Xm, okay. So initially, if it is at the maximum displacement at time t equal to 0, then the phase phi would be 0, and so I am just taking the example that at t equal to 0, x equal to Xm, which would imply that phi is 0. Okay. So the graph would look like this. So starting from this extreme position, going to the other extreme and coming back to this extreme is what is called one oscillation. The time taken for one oscillation is called the time period t. Okay. T is the time taken for one complete oscillation is called the time period t. T is 2 pi by omega naught. Okay. Actually, t would be 1 by f, but omega naught is 2 pi f. So 1 by f would be 2 pi by omega naught. And we know that omega naught is root of k by m. Omega naught is the natural frequency of the oscillator. This implies the time period of a spring mass system, the spring constant k and a mass m attached to it would be 2 pi root of m by k. Okay. So here we are ending the discussion on the equation of motion and its solution for a spring mass system which exhibits simple harmonic motion. The amplitude remains constant. This is because of the fact that there are no dissipative losses. Okay. But how does the spring mass system continue to oscillate? Consider the spring mass system and let at time t equal to 0, the mass is at the maximum displacement plus Xm. Okay. So now the energy stored in this system will be completely potential energy stored in the spring. Okay. So if the displacement were x, then force is minus kx. Potential energy is the work done, that is integral 0 to x f dx. So it would be half k x square when the displacement is x. In the initial condition, x is Xm, that is the maximum displacement. So the total energy of the system is completely potential energy. Okay. Half half k xm square. When the mass reaches the equilibrium position x equal to 0, the energy is completely kinetic energy with a velocity that is maximum. Okay, so the energy is completely kinetic energy. Total energy is kinetic energy when the mass reaches here. And when the mass reaches the position minus xm, it again becomes completely potential energy. At all intermediate positions, the total energy of the system is a combination of potential energy and kinetic energy. So, if we were to plot a graph of energy versus displacement, it would look like this. As I told you, the total energy is a constant. The potential energy is having a quadratic relation. So this is minus xm, this is plus xm, this is x equal to 0. Okay. Since the relation between potential energy and this is the potential energy versus x curve. Since the relation is quadratic, the curve is parabola, and the kinetic energy is 0 at the extreme positions, because the total energy is potential energy at the extreme positions, and it is maximum at the mean position. At any distance x or at any displacement x, the potential energy is half k x square, whereas the total energy is half k xm square. So the kinetic energy would be half k xm square minus x square. So this shows us that at x equal to 0, the kinetic energy is equal to the total energy. Total energy, which is half k xm square. So the kinetic energy versus displacement graph would be an inverted parabola like this. Okay. So it is the interchange of potential energy and kinetic energy is what maintains the oscillatory behavior of a spring mass system without dissipative losses. Note that only in the absence of dissipative losses, the total energy can remain constant, and the interchange between potential energy and kinetic energy keeps the spring mass system to oscillate continuously for infinite time. Okay. So in the light of this discussion, let us quickly discuss about a simple pendulum and a torsional pendulum. So a simple pendulum has a bob of mass m attached to an inextensible thread of length L, and the pendulum is displaced by an angle theta. Since the length is L, and if theta is very small, then this displacement can be considered to be along a straight line, and x will be equal to L theta. Okay. Let us assume a frame of reference that is attached to the bob. When I displace by an amount x, the inertial force would be mass times acceleration. The gravitational force mg is acting downward, and resolving the components of mg along the axis attached to the center of mass of the bob would give you the restoring force developed to be minus mg sin theta. Okay. So A will be minus g sin theta, and for small amplitude, that is when theta tends to 0, sin theta is equal to theta. But theta itself is x by L. So you will have acceleration equal to minus g theta, A equal to minus g by L x. This is very similar to our spring mass system, A equal to minus k by m x. So in this case, the natural frequency of the oscillator would be root of g by L, and the time period of a simple harmonic motion, the time period of a simple pendulum would be t equal to 2 pi root of L by g. So from this expression, we develop a method to calculate the acceleration due to gravity. Okay. So we have briefly discussed about a simple pendulum as a simple harmonic oscillator. Now let us discuss about torsional pendulum. Or an angular simple harmonic motion. So in case of a torsional pendulum, you have a disc attached to a wire that is rigidly supported at the other end. When you twist the disc through an angle theta, there are torsional stresses developed within the wire. I alpha will be equal to minus c theta. Here I is the moment of inertia, mass moment of inertia of the circular disc, and c is the couple per unit twist of the wire. Okay. So it depends on the material of the wire, its length and radius. C is actually given as pi eta r power 4 by 2L. Okay, where eta is the rigidity modulus of the wire, of the material of the wire, r is the radius of the wire, and L is the length. So here you have alpha equal to minus c by I theta. This can be compared to the expression we got for a spring mass system, A equal to minus k by m x. Only difference is, instead of acceleration, you have angular acceleration alpha. Angular acceleration is d square theta by dt square. And instead of displacement, you have angular displacement theta. So in this case, the natural frequency of the torsional pendulum would be omega naught equal to c by I, and the time period would be 2 pi root of I by c. So the torsional pendulum gives us a method to calculate the couple per unit twist, from which we can calculate the rigidity modulus of the material of the wire. Okay. So in today's lecture, we have seen about the conditions for simple harmonic motion, examples of systems executing simple harmonic motion. We have set up the equation of motion of a spring mass system and found the solution we have seen the relation between potential energy and kinetic energy in a simple harmonic oscillator. SHO is simple harmonic oscillator. And we have discussed about simple pendulum and torsional pendulum, which is an angular harmonic oscillator. Briefly. Hope you have benefited out of this lecture. We will continue in next class.